You can start, sir.
Okay. So I see is total four. Okay. So in terms of the next concept which we were trying to learn was regarding list and tuples or in the data types. So if we jump into the list, so what are basically list? So in our last session, what I gave was a brief introduction, like what is a list, and it contains is like values in it, right? Or like an array kind of structure. So to go by the definition, list contains like values or like an objects into it. And once we create those values or objects into a list, they can be changed also, which means they are like immutable, which are basically like mutable. So lists are basically changeable. So that means whatever value which is present inside a list can be updated, deleted, or any kind of data manipulation operation can be performed on those lists. And lastly, it allows you to store duplicates also. So these are the three key main features for a list. So let me zoom a little bit more, maybe. Okay. So these are three key main features of a list that it's basically used to store values or objects. Then secondly, it's basically can be changed. And lastly, it allows duplicates. So what is the syntax for creating a list? So syntax for creating a list is we need to provide is the list name first. That list name can be a variable name and it can be anything, followed by a equal to sign and square brackets, which is open and end bracket. So this is the exact syntax for creating a list. Now, what is an example for creating a list is, let's say I have a list name called as A and equal to square bracket open, square bracket close. And inside these brackets, I can provide values. Now those values can be any numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this indicates I have created a list called as A, and in this list, I'm storing 5 numbers in it. Similarly, I can create one more list which will store text in it. So another text list is B equal to open and close bracket, which is squared one. And then I will provide in single quotes characters inside it. Including characters, I can store complete name also, which can be like anything like Tom or something. Anything, any name can be placed. And including names also, I can provide my numbers also inside it. So that is the best feature of a list where we can insert any type of data into it and will not get any error. So if you see at this list called as B, we have stored numbers inside it, characters inside it, and then we have stored a name also inside it, which is like a more than one character. So this is how a list is. And then lastly, again, like if you want to store complex numbers, that can also be stored inside it. So you can imagine of any kind of or data type which you have learned until now that can be stored inside this list. So this is a basic example of a syntax as well as a structure a list can be created. So that completes what is about a list. Now next thing is tuples. So now tuples are nothing but list only, but the only key difference between there is tuples when they are created, they cannot be changed. That means once we create a tuple, we cannot edit it or we cannot modify it afterwards. So, so tuples are basically like lists, but when created, the tuple cannot be changed. That is a key feature between a list and tuple. And the other second key feature between tuple is how the syntax is for a tuple. For a list, what we saw is the syntax includes square brackets, but for a tuple, it includes is round brackets, which is open and close round bracket. Now, a quick example for a tuple is, let's say I have a tuple called as a equal to, and I store a value called as 3.14, which is the value of pi. So as we know, like pi value doesn't change, right? Anytime in future or past or present. So these kind of constant values can be used to store in a tuple so that once it is created, we cannot change it. The another quick example would be we have another tuple called as b and we store sequence of constants in it like 3.14 which is value of pi, then another number which is just a random number called as 5 and 10. And if you're trying to change this value of b or any number inside a b, we cannot change it because that's the key functionality of a tuple. So that covers tuples also. Like tuples are nothing but like basically list only, but the first key difference is it includes round brackets, and once it's created, we cannot change later on. And in terms of change, it doesn't mean like we cannot change this numbers, but we cannot change this variable a tuple because this is like a constant. And if you're trying to change it in a program, we'll get an execution error that it's a tuple and we cannot change it. You'll get to know when we run those programs for all these three into our console to see like the difference between list, tuple, and range. Now going into range, range is not used for storing any kind of values like list and tuple, right? Like here we are storing all the values like 1 to 5, then numbers, constants, but range is not used to store any value. Rather, this is used for more of like a iteration purpose. So it is used for iteration purpose. An iteration purpose means it is used for looping. And looping means like if you're using in a program any kind of loops like for loop or a do while loop or a while loop, any kind of loop. And if you want to increment a pointer like I from 0 to 100, we have to use this range. So basically, syntax for a range is small range range. Then we need to follow is start number. That means what should be my start, then what should be my end number, and what should be my difference or a step. That can be like how much time you want to increase. We can call it as like a step. So this is the syntax for range. Now, if we go into an example for range, what we can say is the range of 1 to 5 with a step of 0. Now, what will this give us is it will give us a number from 1 to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a step increase of 1. And by default, every time your step would be 1 unless you change it. So if we say range of 1 to 5, I'm going to get numbers from 1 to 5. But if I say again a range from 1 to 5 with a step of 2, what will be my output? Output would be I will get every second number in my range. So that is 1. Then I will get a difference of 2. So 1 plus 2 becomes 3 and then 5. So here you are saying we are getting every second number as part of my output between my start and end. That is 1, 3, 5. And then again, if you change this 2 to just 1, then I will get is every alternate number. That is 1, 3, then 5, like that kind of thing. So now we
So
can.
this step
Mhm.
is like for loop only, like in the increment. I instead of I plus plus, we can make a use of I plus two, I plus three, or like that I plus five.
Correct, correct. Same way. Like we just need to
Yeah.
provide like what should be my incrementer, like plus 2 or plus 3 or anything, and it will work accordingly.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so this completes the sequential data types and its internal details regarding what is the syntax and what is the example. Now, before going into our console, what we can quickly do is dictionaries also, which was the mapping data type. And the only one concept within a mapping data type is called as dictionary. Now, if you have seen list and tuples, these are like one way. One way indicates like one dimensional. So you just store values in a list or like a comma separated values. If you see here, all the values are stored in like a comma separated values. But for dictionary, it is little bit different. Now dictionary stores values in form of pair, and that pair is nothing but like a key value pair, key and a value pair. So if you want to store some data into it, it has to be always in the form of key colon value pair, and it gets into curly brackets so that this key value pair is called as a dictionary. So if you want to know, okay, what is the syntax for my dictionary? My syntax for dictionary is I will give a dictionary name equal to followed by curly brackets, close and open one, then key and value inside it, followed by commas if you want to store multiple. So example of a dictionary is, let's say I have something called as like cars, right? Like I have like many cars in my name. So the cars are like A, B, C. And what are the prices of every car? So let's say my price of car A is 10, price of car B is 20, and price of car C is 30. So here you see for my car, there is one more additional value I know, which is price. Now, how do I store this kind of information in a dictionary? For that, I would do is create a dictionary for cars, which I call it as dictionary underscore cars equal to brackets. And in my brackets, I will store key value pair. Now here, my key would be car and value would be price. So what is my key? Key is A and its value is 10, comma. What is my second car? Which is B and its value, which is 20. Then car C and its value 30. So this way I can store information about any object if I know some additional information of it. And here we knew like the information of car A is 10, car B is 20, and car C is 30. We can store these kind of information in a dictionary. And if someone asks us what is the value of price of car A, I can pull up from my dictionary and tell car A's value is 10 and so on. So this is how we store the values in a dictionary. Now moving forward from dictionary, what we have is sets and frozen sets in Python, which is next type of data type other than dictionary, list, and tuples, right? If we go back here, we have a naming for it, which is set types, set and frozen set, set and frozen sets. So now why I'm taking set and frozen sets now is because set and frozen set are almost equivalent to list. So if I give by an example, right, like what is a set basically? Set is also used to store values and it is similar to list, but the only key difference here with set is it does not allows duplicates in it. Whereas if I go into a list, my list allows duplicates, but my set doesn't allows duplicate. And the other difference is how those sets are created. Sets are created using curly brackets. So if I go into syntax, right? So what is a syntax for a set? Now syntax for a set is my set name, which can be any variable name, equal to curly brackets. But in my curly brackets, I will have is numbers inside it, which is like comma separated numbers, but not like dictionary. So it is like a one-dimensional numbers. So what is an example for it? So example for it is, let's say I have a variable called as a equal to set, and inside it, I can store list of numbers, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I look at this set, it contains list like numbers, which is almost looking similar to a list, but the only difference here is it's not allowing me to store duplicates. Let's say if I create a another set B and if I store some duplicates in it, right, 1 1 1 1 1, and if I execute it, I will get an error. And error will say cannot allow duplicates. So this is what the error will look like. But if we if we have a list like this, right, which contains numbers in it, which has duplicates also, and if we convert a list to a set, at that point, we will not get an error. But what it will do is it will remove all the duplicates from your list and convert it into a non-duplicate list, which is nothing but like it will contain only unique numbers inside it. So that's the only one key difference between set and a list. But looking at the syntax and example, it is as simple to understand that a set will contain is only list of numbers which are like not duplicates. And that's all. And then if we move forward to the next one, which is frozen set. Now frozen set is similar to list, but now here the difference is once created, it cannot be changed. That is the only one difference between a frozen set and list. And if you see set and frozen set is almost like working in similar lines of list and tuples. So here what we said was list once created can be changed, but tuples once created cannot be changed. And here what we are saying is set and frozen set are almost equivalent, but frozen set once created, it cannot be changed. That is the only key difference between a set and a frozen set. Now, what is the syntax for a frozen set? Now, syntax for frozen set is also same. So, frozen set equal to curly brackets. And if you provide any kind of information in a frozen set, it will tell me that it cannot contain or it cannot be changed once it's created. So that is the only key difference between a set and a frozen set. So now what we'll do is if or like I think so it's almost 9 or like 7:30, 8:30 or 8 p.m. What we'll do is like in a next session, we'll carry forward with the console programs because it will take more than 25 minutes to go through each and every programs and its internal operations also. Because right now what we have covered is only on high level. Now what we'll include as part of next step is what are the internal functions provided in list, tuples, range, dictionary to access these elements and then to update these elements also. So it would take more than 20 minutes. So it's better we can end our today's session and we'll start in our next session on programming all these lists, tuples, range, and dictionaries as well as sets. So, but before we drop off, uh, I just want to know, do you have any kind of questions or any doubt until now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, and is everything clear until now? Like
Yes.
in terms of concepts, and don't hesitate. Like if you have any kind of questions to stop me in between. Okay, so seems like there's no question, so we'll carry in like a next session.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank you so
thank
much, sir.
you. Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a nice day.